But you'll be like, stay in your lane. Come out the dark and don't be ashamed. Your lane. Let's have a conversation on weekdays every day. Tune into your late talk show. It makes us feel good just to know we're not alone. No one who can isolated and gets the time. I want you to come out the dark. Just don't be afraid of your heart. So don't be ashamed. It's all the same. Stay in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever you'll be like. Stay in your lane. Come out the dark and don't be ashamed. Your lane. Let's have a conversation on weekdays every day. Sorry, talk show with Coach Trish Hannah.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to your Lane Talk Show with your coach Trish Hannah. It is such a beautiful day. We're broadcasting live from beautiful Nassau, Bahamas. Thank you so much for those who are tuning in. We are always excited to have you tune into our show. We want to welcome those who are listening to us for the first time. And if you are, I want to let you know that your Lane Talk Show was created to empower, educate, and encourage women of all ages. We talk about everything from relationships to hair and beauty, from name spiritual matters, etc. Whatever you think of now. What I can tell you to do, you can go to Coach Trish Hannah on YouTube and you can look at the plethora of shows that we've already recorded and covered, and the various topics that we've covered. And I want to thank those who've been tuning in and coming up to me. I mean, in the food store, going to church, going to various events. I listened to this show, and this is what ministered to me. And this is what person said, and I really like that. I tried what the woman said about my hair, and I tried, and it's not working. I heard it all, and I also heard. I have had men coming up to me as well. So I want to thank our men listeners as well who've been tuning in, some behind the scenes, some who have no other choice because their wife have the radio tune up dead loud inside the car. So thank you so much, men, for tuning in. I hope that this show continue to be a blessing to you. Now listen, last week was phenomenal. I mean, powerful. It was impactful. It was enlightening. It was, I can't even explain. We had ministers Cara T. Newton and Frankel Outen on our show with our very first of so many to come series, 242 Gospel Highlights Celebrating Bahamian Voices. Now, these ministers, I don't want to just say ladies, but these ministers spoke about, how they got into, the era of ministering in song, the various trials and the tribulations that they had to go through in order to get to this place of humility, this place of passion, to sing unto to God, using Holy Spirit as the what's the word I want to use? The instrument to pen their lyrics, etc. So it was so beautiful. It was powerful. You can actually feel the presence of God in this place last week, Sunday. I advise you to go and watch the show. You can look up Coach Trishan on YouTube, 242 Gospel Highlights Celebrating Bahamian Voices, and watch for yourself. And of course, that's for those particularly, and not exclude, I'm not saying that you could only listen to this particular thing, but those particularly in the field of ministry with regarding music, songwriting, keyboardists, instrumentals, whatever it is that you did I just say instrumentals? Musicians. I need you to go ahead and listen to the show. And even dancers. All right. Anyone that has something to do with the arts in ministry, go and tune in. You're going to be blessed. I promise you. All right. I am thrilled to go ahead and get this show started because there's so much to cover and I'm excited about it. It is time. I'm thrilled to have us joined by uh, two wonderful women. I mean, I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves in a moment. But we're going to explore the myriad advantages of breastfeeding and what it has to offer, from nurturing a newborn's health to fostering a mother's well-being, to help us navigate this important conversation, we have two esteemed professionals joining us today. Their expertise and insights will shed light on the profound benefits of breastfeeding, um, addressing both its immediate and long term effects on health, emotional bonding, and beyond. Now, together, we will discuss the essential role of breastfeeding in a child's development, which is very important, and its benefits for maternal health and practical advice for new mothers navigating their breastfeeding journey. And I don't know where they've been when I was struggling 13 years ago, but we can talk about that in a moment because it was not easy for me at all. All right. You can tune in to Star 106.5 FM dial, channel 976 on cable, and you can watch us on Facebook on Your Lane Live Coaching Facebook page. All right. So, Your Lane, episode 105, Breastfeeding Benefits for Baby and Mother, is brought to you by The Perfume Bar, John's Shoe Store and Accessories, Your Lane Life Coaching, Chef Boyardee Spaghetti, obviously delicious, secretly nutritious, distributed by ACH Pritchard, Hellman's Mayonnaise, Bring Out the Best, Make Taste, Not Waste, distributed by ACH Pritchard, and Libby's Vienna Sausages, also distributed by ACH Pritchard. Now, our guests today, I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves, but we have with us Mrs. Trinika McCardy, and she is the Bahamas National Breastfeeding Association president, along with Anna Forbes, her colleague, Bahamas National Breastfeeding Association treasurer. So, ladies, we're going to start with our Madam President. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been president of this association, and anything else that you'd want to share about you.
Yes.
Come closer to the mic for me.
Well, my name is, like she said, Trinika McCardy, formerly Trinika Hall. I recently got married last year, December, so I'm now McCardy. So please remember that new name. I am a registered nurse, a registered midwife, also a nursing officer in the Department of Public Health at the Ministry of Health and Wellness. I have been in the nursing field for adding in my training 35 years 35 years in the field, and I am also the breastfeeding coordinator, the national breastfeeding coordinator for the Bahamas, put forth by the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Yes. Listen, now I'm going to ask Mrs. Forbes to introduce herself as well, but let me just put a pin right there. Mrs. McCarty, you said you just got married in December.
Yes.
Take 2 seconds to big up your husband, your priest, your prophet, your king. I ain't gonna let you come on here. Ain't no guests have ever been on the show tell me they married and they don't honor their king or their helpmeet. So just 2 seconds, just to honor
I
him.
want to big up
Come on.
Matthew Algernon McCarty, my love, my priest, my second king. I declare blessings over you if you're under the sound of my voice now. God bless you. I love you.
All right. Then, like I said, Mrs. Anna Forbes, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself as well. And of course, I'm not going to even ask because you already know after you didn't say all of that. I want you to honor your king as well.
Oh, it's a pleasure being here. As you said, my name is Anna Forbes, and I'm known as Midwife Anna, Midwife Forbes, Own Your Birth, all those names. I'm sure those who are listening, you'll recognize. And most of all, just listening and hearing my voice. Because everywhere I go, if I'm in the food store, sometimes I'll hear someone shout across that. Is that Midwife Anna? So I'm sure you'll recognize just the voice. And I've been in nursing for 40 plus years and directly working with mama and baby for 25 years plus. Nursing is my life. Helping women to have normal, natural birth. Helping women to have the type of birth that they want, to have a fulfilling experience. And that includes extending that on to helping them with their breastfeeding goals and accomplishing those. I don't see nursing as a career. I don't see it as a job. I see it as a passion. I feel that I was born to be a nurse. I feel that that's the calling that God has placed upon my life. And I just love it. And I'm married to a wonderful man. We've been married for 40 years.
Ooh, child.
We have 3 adult children. And as the songwriter says, it gets sweeter and sweeter.
Okay.
The days go by.
Woo!
The years go by.
I love it. Thank you so much, ladies. I have to. I do that. I honor God. Obviously, He's our first king, as Nurse McCardy said. And then, of course, He gives us kings and priests for our home. So we definitely want to make sure that they were honored before we start the show. I don't care who they are, where they come from. If you're married, we can ask you to do that. Just letting you know. So next time when y'all come, don't you just go straight into it. I honor my priest for my home, and then you can start with your answers to the questions I have for you. No, but as we start, I want to start with something that's very simple. The question's very simple. You have first-time moms. You have moms who have may have not been able to breastfeed initially or was not as successful initially, and then they got into formula feeding, etc. And then they may have conceived and gotten pregnant, gave birth, and at this moment they don't know what to do. So you have people from various platforms, various areas that may not understand the nutritional benefits of breastfeeding. So I don't know who wants to be the first one to answer that, but what are the nutritional benefits of breastfeeding a newborn?
The nutritional benefits of breastfeeding a newborn are numerous.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I want to say that breast milk is an original. Breast milk is unique.
Mm-hmm.
Breast milk is made, delivered, and touched by human hands.
Come on.
It ain't have nothing to do with man. That's a God ordained. So ain't no competition there.
None.
And God has put it in place. You see, we serve an awesome God. Whether you're poor, whether you're rich, whether you're educated, whether you're uneducated, you could breastfeed.
Oh, I love that.
You could breastfeed. And it has all the nutrients, all the anti-infectives, everything you could think of for the first 6 months of life, breast milk has. So when you breastfeed, you are giving your baby wholesome, first class, not no stale milk, nutrients to that newborn. And I want to say, piggybacking on the introduction, Coach Trish said, we are looking at the benefits to mom and baby, but the benefits extend. We're looking at the benefits to mom, to baby, to the family, to the partner, to the community, to the country, and to the world.
Well, guess what? I like how you
all of those.
I like how you actually open that up, because I'm gonna let you just elaborate on that. How is it beneficial for the partner and the family? I know, but some people may not know, and everything. So let's talk about that.
Benefits to the partner.
Yes.
The benefit to the partner is number one. The benefit to the partner for number one, he's gonna save tons of money.
Okay.
He's gonna save over $1,000, $2,000 or more dollars.
Yes.
And more, even more than that, because I was thinking, but when I was dealing with breastfeeding, but the cost of formula and all of the like has gone up.
Sky high.
So it's gone sky high. That's thousands of dollars you will be saving. When you look at bottles, having to buy bottles, those nipples, those pacifiers, the water, the use of your cooking gas,
the sterilizer
you gotta get.
Yes.
All of those things the partner will not have to worry about anymore. Okay, all he gotta do is feed mommy. Once he feed his wife, she will produce the milk and she will feed her baby. Okay, that's one benefit for daddy. Now, when you look at it from the society point of view, okay, for benefiting, do you know that when you exclusively breastfeed your child, and I might add, exclusive breastfeeding means only human milk is to be given to that child. No formula at all, none. Okay, for the first 6 months of life, only human milk should be given. Okay, for the first 6 months. After 6 months, then you introduce your food from the pot,
Right.
pureed or softened foods
Mhm.
from your pot.
Mhm.
You don't even have to buy formula and canned baby
Mhm.
food or
The
bottled baby
cereal.
food
Or
and
cereal,
cereal.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
don't need them. Your food, what you eat, because if you didn't know, I will let you know. The same milk you give your baby
Yeah.
is flavored by the food that you eat.
Yeah.
So it will not cause any problem for the baby. Okay? So I want to tell you that now. For the society, I want to tell you how the society wins when you breastfeed.
Mhm.
Children, they have studied and did research, and they have found that children that are exclusively breastfed or receive human milk, they are much calmer, they are better socialized children.
Mhm.
They are more loving and caring children. Like it was said by our one of our best mentors,
Mhm.
Mrs. Carlotta Class. So when you give cow milk to a human baby, they act like legged beasts,
Audrey.
four-legged beasts. They are rambunctious. They like to fight. They like to argue. They are not loving. They're not caring children.
Mm.
Because remember, when you breastfeed your baby, you bond with them, you
Yes.
hold them, you hug them, you talk to them.
Yes.
Okay? But anyone could just stick a bottle and you know what they do? They prop it up and they go and do something else.
Yes.
So that's not that loving, warm feeling, that warm fuzzy that you
Yes.
get is not there.
Wow.
Okay? So we will have better controlled children. There will be more loving children. The prison houses will not be as full.
Oh,
I'm telling
wow.
you. So
Wow.
society wins when we breastfeed. Another reason society wins, the healthcare system. If the children are healthier, if the children are healthier and not coming to clinic for cough, cold, asthma attack, okay, rashes, okay, diarrhea, vomiting, that alleviates a lot of the sicknesses in the government clinics.
So
You won't have
you
that.
feel as if the not feel, but it's proven that the breast milk help with the baby's immune system.
Yes,
Definitely.
Yeah.
yes, that is the baby's first immunity that is
Yes.
given.
Okay.
When those T cells and those leukocytes go into that breast milk and that is passed on to the baby,
Yes.
man, hey, that baby is well and does. Do you know there's something in your human breast milk that if the mother has a cold,
Mhm.
the baby won't get it because antibodies are formed in the
I
mother's
didn't
milk
know that.
and is passed on to the baby. So mommy may be suffering from a little cold, but the baby never get it. And remember, the baby's right here
Yes.
breastfeeding from her.
Yes. Yes.
I tell you, human breast milk is so amazing.
It's
So let's
amazing.
let's talk about, because we know, okay, it helps with psychological benefits. You get physical benefits. Like you said, they are less anxious and stuff when they get older. Physical, it helps with the immunity, etc. What about for mothers? Other than the bonding with the child, how is it beneficial for her? You also spoke about the finances. Is less money to go and purchase the
Yes.
formula. Are there any other benefits with a woman that breastfeeds a child?
Right out of the gate, let me say, when it comes to breastfeeding, it starts on the delivery table.
Right.
When that baby comes out, put that baby to the breast, cause oxytocin, give a
Yeah.
birth, a shout out, cause the uterus to contract. So you prevent postpartum hemorrhage. You
Mm.
control that bleeding right at the very, very beginning. And when you start breastfeeding, because we want you to initiate breastfeeding within the first hour of the birth of the baby. So
Mhm.
once that baby comes out, ABGA scores above a 7, baby can go directly to mom, skin to skin, and find the breast on its own. And the benefits begin from there.
Mhm.
Also, when you breastfeed, you secrete the hormone called serotonin.
Yeah.
And that helps the mommy to be calm.
Ah.
That helps the mommy to sleep better.
Oh, I need to breastfeed now. Go
And
ahead.
Yes, you do. Yes.
No, my last child is 6. I only saying, I only playing. Go ahead.
and so that helps. But I also want to add, see, with breastfeeding, you have 6 months of exclusively breastfeeding.
Mhm.
You have 6 months of that baby falling in love
Yes.
with the mommy. The mommy is falling in love with the baby. Because the breastfeed, she has to hold the baby. She has
Yeah.
to cuddle the baby. It identifies you as the mother. The baby know you. When you give a bottle, Mary could give the bottle, Tom give the bottle, Harry give the bottle, anybody give the bottle. You prop it up sometime,
Yes.
as the president said earlier, and there's no bonding.
No bonding.
No bonding. That is why we have so much disobedient children.
Oh wow.
There's no bonding.
Yeah.
Trust me, the research is there.
Yeah.
The studies are there. We'll have less violence. We want to see a reduction in crime. We need to see an increase in breastfeeding.
That's something, eh? That's something as simple as what we've already been. This is natural. This is something that comes out of our body.
When you're
That's
16
from
weeks pregnant,
right.
it starts to
Accumulate.
accumulate.
Yeah. So let me share a little bit of what happened with me. Right. When my first child, he is 13 now. Now, when they gave him to me, because I actually had an emergency C-section, so I didn't get him right away. I didn't like that at all, by the way. But anyway, beyond my control. When they gave him to me, he had problems latching on. And I was depressed because of it, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's the postpartum depression, but I felt rejected. I felt rejected. And the nurses came to me and they told me what to do and all those other things. Eventually, before I left the hospital, he latched on. But that hurt. The pain. It was excruciating.
That right now.
Come on, maybe
The
it wasn't
first-
done right.
Yes. No, let me tell you. What happens is sometimes the first latch,
Yes.
you may feel something, but if the baby is attached to the breast properly,
Yes.
you should not continue to feel pain.
Child.
If you continue to feel pain, that means the baby is only on the nipple. And remember, your nipple is very, very sensitive.
Yes.
The baby needs to be as fixed on the areola, the black round
Yes.
part of the breast.
Yes.
So you have to make sure that the baby is on properly. And positioning plays a part in that. So you have to have that baby positioned properly, skin to skin,
Yes.
or stomach to your stomach,
Yes.
and belly or belly to belly. Okay, skin to skin, belly to belly, and so the baby can attach. But some of us are trying to breastfeed our babies using a bottle feeding method. If you bottle feeding a
You
child,
just put
the baby's stomach is looking up at the ceiling. It shouldn't be. The baby's stomach should be facing your abdomen or your stomach. Okay, so that's something
That's important.
That's something you have to know.
Mhm.
Yes,
Because I have to remember, Trish.
Yes, ma'am.
We say breastfeeding. That's a cue right there.
Mhm.
We ain't say nipple feeding.
Oh,
See?
big difference.
It's breastfeeding.
Yes.
And breastfeeding is pleasurable for mommy and pleasurable for baby. Both people love it.
That initial stage for me, eventually we got it. But that
praise the
initial
Lord.
stage was excruciating. I didn't even want to do that anymore.
Yes,
And here's another issue that I had too. Because I have a bunch of questions for you all, but as we're flowing, we just flow.
Yes,
My other issue was wow, this might be TMI, but it was I think how can I put this? I felt as if, based on what the pediatrician told me, I still don't really agree 100% with him, that some of the foods that I was eating was causing gas to my son, because he was very colicky, and he was having issues with the breast milk. And what the pediatrician told me to do was put him on soy formula. I'm disturbed by it now, because that's what I did based on what the doctor told me to do. Because he told me to don't eat no tomatoes, don't eat any ketchup. That he eliminated my diet so bad that I felt as if I couldn't eat anything. And so I was like, you know what, I can't take this. I want to eat. All right. So we said, okay, put the baby on soy.
Right. And that discouraged you.
It sure did.
A lot of pediatricians, they mean well, but they are not well versed in lactation or dealing with breastfeeding. The only things irritate your baby's tummy is if you encourage stuff like cinnamon, hot pepper, like goat pepper, stuff like that. They are the things that will irritate the baby's tummy. Otherwise than that, all of the other things should be fine.
Ketchup, tomato.
No.
Cabbage.
No. Oh, cabbage good for you. Cabbage is good even to help spring the milk.
Oh.
No, that is not
I guess
issue.
swing.
Yeah, you got swing. I'm so sorry that happened to you. But when you
Yeah.
have this next baby,
Yeah. Ooh,
you
no.
have
No
Anna
more
or
baby.
me to assist you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All
And we
right.
have other people that are well voiced in lactation.
I really wish
Okay.
I found
Because
y'all 13 years ago.
when what the Bible say, for the lack of knowledge, people perish.
Perish.
Because we don't know or have the right information, we go blindly doing things and we get wrong information.
Yeah.
And you see that? He tell you put the baby
On
on
soy.
soy.
That's more
And
money for me
that's
because
not
Charlotte
only
soy
more
milk
money,
expensive.
that was insult to injury. That
Yes.
just made things worse.
Mhm.
Okay.
And Trish, while you was talking,
Mhm.
the key to all of this, right,
Mhm.
is education.
Yes.
You have 40 weeks of pregnancy. You need to educate yourself.
Yes.
Breastfeeding is natural, but it's also a skill.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of information that you need to gather, that you need to know so that you could prevent some of the pitfalls. And you need to have a lactation consultant in one corner.
Yeah.
So when the physician tell you something, you know what to ask, you know how to respond. Because the number one thing in my mind that may have caused that baby
Mhm.
to have some colic was they formula fed him. It is known that formula makes baby more gassy.
Mhm.
Okay? And it takes weeks before you get rid of that out of the baby system. So because
You are absolutely correct.
that baby was given formula, and listen here, they just give plenty formula. Baby stomach only could hold about
So
10
much.
mils,
Mhm.
And usually they may give the baby 30 mils. They just stretch the gut of the baby so much.
I believe that because I got an emergency C-section, the baby couldn't come to me right away. So obviously when they fed, they had to give the formula. So now I'm putting all the pieces together 13 years later. But I get it. But I had 2 more kids after. They were fine. We did well with that. So there were no issues there. Now, eventually, y'all don't come for me, please. But eventually I put them on formula as well. And this was like within the 5th or the 6th month, near close or whatever have you, because I was trying to find a way to wean them off. That was my reason. I know. And that's only because I heard stories of my friends who have 2 and 3-year-olds who come and pull the shirts down and say, Mommy, who talking and say, I want breasts.
But ain't
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh Lord.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing is
That's
wrong.
bonding. They love. That's good stuff.
2 and
Listen to
3-year-olds.
me. Listen to me.
With teeth?
Know how old your husband is?
I ain't gonna say that
He's
on
still
air.
breastfeeding.
My husband?
Mm-hmm.
Breastfeeding? Oh yeah.
You missed the point.
I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, of course he is.
Yeah.
And you said it with pleasure.
Of course.
And you will stop that baby at 2, 3.
Wow.
But somebody else still breastfeeding at 25, 35, 45. Huh?
Yeah.
You think that's fair?
That ain't fair at
Yeah.
all.
See, what people don't realize is
I love
you
y'all.
allow the child to release you, not you release the
Ooh.
child. The child stops breastfeeding on their own. By the time they start walking around, playing with other things, going outside, enjoying all of the little other activities, what they on to now is these phones and different things. They will lessen and lessen their time on the breast, and they will be into other activities. So, if you even go in the Bible and you check about Samuel was weaned
Mm-hmm.
by the time he was what?
3.
But by 3 years old. Okay? So breastfeeding your child up until then is not a problem. Okay? That is not a problem, women. There's nothing wrong with it.
And listen, women out there, mothers to be. We ain't talking on the top of our head, World Health Organization, WHO, that's who governs globally our health policy.
Yes.
UNICEF, United Nations International Children's Fund. That's a next big, huge governing body. Then you have other health providers, and everyone with one voice. Seldom you have unity, but when it comes to this, you have unity. Every one of them say exclusive breastfeeding, meaning no water, no dummy, no pacifier, no bottle for 6 months, and to continue breastfeeding. Initially, they used to say 1 year.
Yeah.
Then they stretch it to 2 years.
Mm.
Now they're coming right on target with the word of God. They say in 3 years.
Wow.
After 3 years.
Okay. All right. I mean, we're going to take a break, but just before that break, I have seen little children in church who could talk, walking around. He was in the bathroom, done potty training and pulling down the mummy's shirt. And I say, what? You big enough to say you want pull down shirt? Go try, go cook.
It's called comfort feeding. That's all it is. It's comfort feeding for the child.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. I was kidding, by the way. We're going to take a quick break and we'll come back right after this. So we are still recording, but we're off radio, just fine. And I love your energy, both of you. You're just so beautiful, beautiful women. I'm excited that the energy that you have and excitement that you have for what you do. You can tell it's a passion. It is a passion. So normally around this time, we read like comments within, right? And so we'll just, I don't know how much time we have, but talk to us a little bit about like various foods. I know you said we could eat things, the things that we should not eat or what we should eliminate when breastfeeding would be hot sauce,
the hot sauce
and cinnamon. But why cinnamon?
Cinnamon
Anything
is a
pepper, I understand, but why
cinnamon?
cinnamon?
Cinnamon is a heavy spice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
You ever see when the people try to swallow the raw spice? You see what happened? They gag and bring it up.
So what about other spices? You got like allspice, you get season, all these other
No,
thing,
not those.
Baileys.
But they have proven that the cayenne
Mhm.
and the
cinnamon.
cinnamon,
Yeah.
they said they do something. They irritate the
Right.
intestine
yeah.
and the
Mhm.
lining of the tummy of the baby.
Okay.
But
Okay.
other things, eating all the tomato, the cabbage, the lettuce, all of those things which you eat, they will not do anything to
Nurse
the baby.
McCardy, when I told you that he eliminated my like everything that I like, he took out. He's like, okay, let's take this out. Let's take this out. Let's take this
But
out.
did it
Even milk.
change? Did
when
it
I was-
Did
change?
anything change
Change.
after he
I did
it?
not see any change. That's why
Okay.
he kept on experimenting and say, take this out, take this out,
He
take this
should
out.
have
And then
called a
afterwards,
lactation
he should have.
because we were in swing from then. You
From
said
From
that
then, because I know you,
Yeah.
yeah.
we was
definitely.
around long
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
We was around long.
And-
All you have to do is call for a lactation person to help. He made an error with that. I remember I was the lactation consultant. The pediatrician tell me my baby used to just spit up a little
Mhm.
because he was exclusively breastfed. Oh, what you need
I
to
had
do
that too.
is start giving him a little cereal. I said, but my baby is a newborn. And
Mhm.
well, I just
Cereal.
let him talk.
Mhm.
I just let him talk. And I say, you know what I end up doing? I say, guess what? I know from training that a baby's intestine or
Mhm.
their epiglottis, you know the thing, the
Yes.
flap that
Right.
feeds,
Close.
is not functioning as well.
Right.
So what I had to start doing is just propping my baby up a little after feeding,
Mhm.
just prop him up a little bit.
Mhm.
By the time he was 3 months, that little spitting up with
Yeah.
the breast milk stopped because his little epiglottis got more mature and shut properly.
Because
So
sometimes
the food don't come out.
right before I get to close,
Mhm.
Yeah, some milk.
some milk would have
That
gone
was
in,
happening
and that's
for
what
my son
happened
as
to the
well.
baby.
He had
And
a
that's
lot
just
of
because
spit
of immaturity. And it's very,
Right.
if you get a more premature baby,
Yeah.
it'll be even more prevalent.
Wow.
And that's just because of the anatomy and physiology there.
Yeah.
And so once I had another baby, I'd do the same thing.
Mhm.
I used the support pillow that the mummy had.
Yeah.
Welcome back. If you're just joining me, we have two beautiful nurses. Oh my gosh, I just want to squeeze them because they have so much knowledge and insight. They're like, what the Bible's Eloise and what's the other person? Persona in the Bible with Paul, the two aunties. You
Oh.
remember their name?
No.
We could
No,
go look
I
that up in a
remember.
second.
We gotta look that
We
one
gotta
up.
look that one up. Paul was the one who was admonishing the two women. I can't remember the names, but I can look for that because I don't like to forget things. But I just love the fact that they're so mothering, they're so nurturing, even as they're talking to us, and I love that. I love what they have to offer and the insight that they have. This is nurses McCardy and Forbes. All right, they're here with us and they're talking to us about ways that we can properly breastfeed our babies. All right, so before we left, we were talking about, well, actually, on our break, we were talking about what was suitable for mothers to eat and consume to help with any form of gas, etc. And Nurse McCarty and Nurse Forbes was saying that, hey, the only thing that has been proven or scientifically proven is any form of spices like pepper, cayenne, hot sauce, etc., and cinnamon. Okay, but everything else is fine, which, like I said before, I don't know where they were 13 years ago for me, because I mean, when I say I couldn't eat this, no ketchup, he told me not to drink my cow's milk, all these various things. My son was spitting up while I was breastfeeding, and he was spitting up with the soy milk as well, and he was still colicky with the soy milk, not as bad, but he was still colicky. And so that, I guess, that was a trial and error for me, and it is what it is. Now, I want to ask about
before you move on
Go
in
ahead.
terms of things that we limit in the diet,
mhm,
alcohol. I must say that.
absolutely.
Alcohol is a no-no because it's interesting, you
Any
know.
form of drugs.
Yeah. I
consumption.
had a mother, very educated, actually a
Mhm.
lawyer,
Mhm.
and she was exclusively breastfeeding, and she had a lot of breast milk pumps. So she said, "Can I have some wine?"
Oh.
She said, "I need to reward myself." She sent me all the pictures of all of the
The
milk,
bags.
the bags.
Mhm, mhm.
So I sent her back and I tell her she can have 30 cc's. I said, "You can." She said, "What?" She said, "I can't drink 30 cc's." I said, "Well, you could have 60 cc's. You could have 60 mils. That's the 2 small medicine
Yes.
cups." I said, "Then just wait 2 hours, and it should be out of your system, and then you could continue to think." But alcohol is one of the things that really, during the pregnancy
Mhm,
and also while breastfeeding, especially for that 6 months,
mhm.
we would want you to abstain from, because mainly of the side effects to the baby.
Yes. What I mean, I know we know, but there might be people who may not know. What are some of the
Yes.
side effects if a woman innocently drinks wine during her time of breastfeeding or during the intervals of breastfeeding?
Okay, one of the things is we know that it is readily transferable to the baby.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it can make the baby druggy.
Mm.
It can make the baby drowsy. It's going to affect the baby sucking, going to the breast and sucking. And if you are an alcoholic, I mean, you drinking, you really, an occasional 30, 60 cc's here after delivery while you're breastfeeding, the science say is okay, right? They
Mhm.
advise you that you wait 4 hours before you go back. The science say that.
Science.
Okay?
Mhm.
That's the science. That's what you will see if you read.
Mhm.
Now, it's not going to do any harm long term. Now, it's only if you drink excessively, then
Mhm.
that becomes a problem.
Mhm.
You have all kinds of gastro issues, emotional issues, and stuff like that you're going to be passing on to that baby, because that baby can be intaking that baby liver immature, can't even deal with that and the
Yes.
process, and you have lots of issues.
Mhm.
Okay, so that is why we say to alcoholics, do not breastfeed,
Mhm.
because of the damaging effects to the baby. But an occasional, now I'm talking about an occasional,
Mhm.
and not that hard rum,
Mhm.
people say that bad rum.
I mean, the
Yeah.
little wine, the little red wine.
According to science, I
Yes.
believe something different.
Yes.
But I'm a professional, so I'm just saying what the science say
Yes.
in terms of the amount
Mhm.
and what you could have. Um,
Would you say the amount is accumulated?
like 30 cc's, max 60 cc's.
Okay.
You know those medicine cups?
Yes.
Die much.
Right.
And you must really want to have a piece of drop of wine for just them two little, because
Yeah,
that don't
that
make no
little bit
sense.
of-
You might as well just wait.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I would also like to say, Miss Hannah, on the guys, since we're dealing with food items and stuff, some people say, what can I use to help bump up my milk supply?
Why you?
Yes.
Please
Can I ask a
listen here.
question, please?
Okay, go ahead. Go
That
ahead.
was my next question. So
Yeah.
go right ahead. You right in the
Okay,
spirit.
let me
Go right
tell you
ahead.
some things that will help you make more milk,
Increase.
ladies.
Yes.
Increase your milk supply. You see that fever grass you got in your yard? That will do the job. You see the papaya, you eat that. That will
Yes.
help bump up milk supply. Okay? Guess what? The pigeon peas we grow in our yard.
Mhm.
Pigeon peas. You can go and buy the pigeon peas from the shop and just saute that down with a little garlic, a little seasoning,
Mhm.
and just eat that on the side. That will help your breast milk spring so well.
Wow.
And guess what? Even that, if you have the fresh peas out your yard,
Yeah.
you see that peas water, what they boil that peas in?
Yeah.
Drink it.
Wow.
Okay? Drink it down.
Uh,
That
what
is
about-
awesome.
I
let me
heard
tell you-
oatmeal. Is oatmeal,
Oatmeal is good too.
and then I
Yeah.
heard Gatorade.
No,
No Gatorade.
No?
Too much sugar.
Too much sugar and salt.
No
Wow,
Gatorade.
I heard Gatorade.
No, who told you that? No, let me
I
tell
ain't
you.
gonna call the name.
But hold
This is
on.
supposed to be
Coconut
professional.
water, coconut water, and water.
Okay.
That see,
That's
it
your beverage.
isn't the Gatorade what is doing the job. It's
Right.
because they're drinking a lot of fluid,
Uh-huh.
which is the water in the Gatorade.
Okay.
But Gatorade
what
is a
about the
no-no.
teas like what is fenugreek or something?
Yes.
like
Yes,
that, right.
yes. You can also have those.
Mhm.
Yes, that's excellent.
Mhm.
But
Yes.
in addition to what you have to say,
Mhm.
more milk, more demand. Supply and demand.
Yes.
If you don't breastfeed, nothing come in.
Mhm.
If you breastfeed a little bit come in.
Mhm.
If you breastfeed plenty come in.
Mhm.
Okay, that's the most critical thing. That baby should be going to the breast 8 to 12 times in a 24 period, every hour, hour and a half, 2 hours to the breast.
Mhm.
Because initially, and this is where I get a lot of challenge.
Mhm.
Lactation is a process.
Mhm.
Initially, when the baby comes, you're going to get colostrum.
Yeah.
Thick, yellow, concentrated, drip.
Mhm.
But it's all the baby need.
Mhm.
No matter what you do, it takes a process. It's going to take about 3 to 5 days for lactation to get established.
Mhm.
I had a mother, she was pumping till she pumped a nipple sore. That ain't going to help you there. That's for afterwards.
she didn't know
It's
no
a
better.
process for
Mhm.
lactation to be established.
Mhm.
You have colostrum because the baby's stomach's small. That's
Mhm.
3 to 5 days. By the time the baby 5 days, you got transitional milk to mature milk kicking in,
Mhm.
and the baby's stomach then grow a little bit bigger. It start off being the size of a cherry,
Mhm,
and maybe not the size of a walnut, so it could hold more.
Mhm.
Okay, so the key thing I want to emphasize is put the baby to the breast. You want to know if the baby is getting sufficient stooling and peeing, because I hear this all the time.
Mhm.
And they be so panicky. And because number one, most pediatrician can tell them, well, give the baby a little something. And that's the wrong, you're just throwing the whole process back.
Yeah.
We know scientifically, no demand, no supply. If you had a baby and you lost the baby or some reason you cannot breastfeed, we don't do nothing. You know, one time it is to give you something to drive the milk.
Mhm.
We ain't got to give you nothing because there's no demand, there'll be no supply.
I like that. So how do you what tips would you give to mothers who are struggling to breastfeed for whatever reason
me.
that might be?
See Anna or see me. Now, by the way, I am only in Nassau for World Breastfeeding Week right now. I actually reside in Abaco. So
Okay.
if y'all call me to get help, if I'm not on the ground in New Providence, I call in Anna.
Okay, so
Anna.
Forbes is in
Yes.
New Problem. Okay,
And
good.
then we have maybe
I'll
one
reach
or
out to
two other
others.
Right.
people that we can get for you.
So right then and there, other than someone coming there, is there anything that you can tell them, like for instance, over the phone, or
Yes.
what you could
We
advise
do
now
video
as
call.
far as
Yes,
okay,
lots-
so you video
yes,
call,
yes.
and I know because I don't want to do too much, but I know you would probably or somebody would help with demonstrating.
Yes.
Right, because I remember something, but yeah, okay, all
Yes.
right. So what can you say then for someone who's listening right now if they're struggling with breastfeeding their child? What words of
Well,
encouragement or
I
advice?
encourage them to not give up. call Anna, call me, call a lactation consultant to assist you. It's according to what the problem is, because it may just be one little simple thing
Mhm.
that she may be just positioning
Wrong.
the baby wrong.
Mhm.
And she said, oh shucks, I ain't doing it right. I say, show me what you doing.
Mhm.
And when she do the bit, I say, I see what your problem is. I say, you ain't have to put baby position properly.
Wow.
You see?
Sometimes I go there, the baby like this, and the head like this.
Mm.
The baby straight and the head
Twisting-
like this.
twisting up.
I said, now you sit up straight, turn your head to the side and swallow. You demonstrate,
You
Trish.
can't do
Turn your head
that.
to the side. It's difficult.
You can't. No. You
Yes.
can't. No.
Okay? But they do that to the baby. So sometimes it's just simple little correction. I had a
Yeah.
mother, she had twins.
Mhm.
The first baby
Yeah.
came out and stayed with her. The
Mhm.
second baby had to go to NICU.
Mhm.
So that one came home late, and that one was struggling with breastfeeding.
Yeah.
But she successfully breastfeeding both twins.
I love
Mm,
that.
Well, they had some formula. The one of them, the one who was in the queue,
NICU had the
had
formula.
a little bit
Yeah.
because she was a mother who was expressing and taking when
Okay.
it was time, yeah,
Okay.
to the queue. So it's just to show you that it's possible. And sometimes I link you with other mothers so that you could network and
The
share.
support.
That
I love that.
support. That support is there. So on, keep looking out. I'm trying to get a support group together so
Mhm.
we could be on Facebook and all those places so that you could readily, talk to some mothers who have been there.
What on my summary, what would be excuse me, what would be some reasons for women who may not be able to breastfeed at all, other than like perhaps like breast cancer, I don't know, might be an issue.
Yeah, we have,
What
Yes.
are other
Yes, we have. Well, some main issues would be, like you said, cancer of the breast,
Mhm.
the status, their HIV status.
Mhm.
In the Bahamas, we do not put forth breastfeeding for women who are HIV positive.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. Other reasons are alcoholic, drug addicts,
Mhm.
people who have and mentally unstable
Mm.
women. Okay.
Mhm.
Malformities of the breast, like inverted nipples.
No, that's not an excuse. You
Ask-
can
But
breastfeed.
I want you. I don't want to just answer it like that. I need you to ask it. What's your question? What about women
With deformities.
with deformities of the breasts,
And
like
inverted.
the nipples are inverted, etc.?
Yes,
Right.
women who have inverted nipples can breastfeed. There's nothing wrong with you. See, they think you have to have a nipple pointing out
Right.
to breastfeed.
Mhm.
No, once there is an opening for the milk to come out,
Mhm.
once you put that baby to the breast, that baby is latched on properly,
Mhm.
the milk is going to come out. So
Mhm.
that's not a problem. Now, if a mother has a lump or she has an abscess,
Yeah.
do you know those women, they still tell those women, we will take care of the abscess and you can still breastfeed.
Right. There's
Okay?
someone I know who
You have
had
two breasts.
a lymph node behind the nipple,
Mhm.
so it was causing
Obstructing.
It. You're right.
Well, that's
That's
an
a
issue.
Yeah.
That's different because the milk can't get out.
Right.
That's different.
So she
Okay.
just used the other nipple.
Yes, she
Yeah.
have two breasts. She
Yeah.
just used the other one. I
And
have
pump
a
the other one,
client.
maybe she could pump
Yes,
the other
yes,
one.
pump the other one so the breast can kind of stay the
Balance.
same size. Because if you only feeding off one
One get flat.
one gonna be flat and one gonna be big and solid. Okay, so you'll just have to pump up that milk
Yes.
and discard that and breastfeed of the other breast.
And
And a women
Mhm.
can breastfeed successfully using just one breast. I've
Mhm.
seen it done.
Mhm. Mhm.
I want to chime in there and say, because that's a big problem with flat nipples, inverted nipples, and most of the times it's a wrong diagnosis.
Mm.
Lots of times I go there, the flat nipples ain't flat, and the inverted nipples ain't inverted. And there's different degrees of inversion of the nipple. So it may be a little bit more challenging if you, depending on the degree of the inversion. But a flat nipple, basically, it really ain't much. As simple as a small is not
Mhm.
really much of an issue. When it comes to the inverted nipple, if you have a severe case of maybe a level 3 or level 4, you may have a little bit more difficulty. But if you work closely with a consultant, you should be able to successfully breastfeed. And I want to emphasize here again, education is key. That should be diagnosed before. You should start working. You should start all of the little techniques that we teach you in order to bring the nipple out
Right.
so that when you give birth, you're good to go.
Let's talk about professional women. After a certain while, they have about 6 months at home. It's 3 to 6 months at home, and then they have to go back into work. How do they maintain the supply? I know the answer, but for people who may not know,
Well, the
of the
way to
milk.
maintain your supply is while you're on maternity leave, on leave, vacation, while you're home, you're supposed to be pumping
Mhm,
and storing your milk so you can have a milk bank at
mhm,
home.
mhm,
Invest in a separate freezer if you
mhm,
want, or keep a portion of your freezer for your human breast milk.
mhm,
Okay. When you are home, you need to be cup feeding
mhm,
and breastfeeding. Don't just breastfeed direct from the breast all the time.
mhm,
Alternate it, because you're going to want to get your hair done.
mhm,
You want to go out with your husband sometimes.
mhm,
You are going to have to leave the baby with somebody
mhm,
at some point. I remember you're going to transition to go back to work. So you have to practice that. Once breast milk is already established
mhm.
and a proper attachment is already established, then you work on pumping, storing, cup feeding and breastfeeding.
Talk
So the
about cup
baby
feeding.
cup feeding, that is simple. All it is, you get one of those same little medicine cups
Mhm,
or a plastic foam cup.
mhm,
You put your breast milk in that after you express it out,
mhm.
and you form it to the baby's mouth. You sit the baby up in a sitting, like in a slanted sitting position.
It's about 6 months old.
Yes.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And then you pour them. No, you can do this from the baby is born. That's what they do on maternity ward. They cup feed the babies with a cup.
Why?
The
Don't
mummy,
you know
I
what
mean,
I
I'm
want to
using
tell
a
you?
bottle. That's what
Yes,
I.
yes.
right.
Bottles cause nipple confusion.
Okay.
You know what it is? You've been sucking from mommy breasts for weeks, and then you decide you want to give a bottle.
Mhm,
The mechanics for bottle feeding is different from breastfeeding. Your breast, if you look on your areola, there's some small little holes there.
mhm,
That helps affix the baby to the breast.
mhm,
Okay? The baby doesn't bite on your breast to
mhm,
stay on. Okay? That helps the suction or helps the baby to stay on the breast.
mhm,
But with a nipple,
mhm.
what you try to take a bottle away from a baby that is bottle feeding, they bite on the nipple to stay on the nipple.
Mhm,
Okay, so what happens when you cause nipple confusion is you giving the baby your breast. That's one method,
mhm,
one
mhm.
mechanics. When you give them a bottle, they have to bite on the nipple
Okay.
to
To
get the
get the
milk
milk.
out.
Mhm.
So what happens when you switch it on them? They end up biting you. That's where the nipple confusion comes in. So
Oh.
sometimes the baby ain't sure he on the breast or he on your on a nipple
Mhm,
or on a form on a bottle. So that's where the biting, where the baby does the biting.
mhm,
And that's why we call it nipple confusion. We don't want the baby to get confused, and we don't want the baby to stop breastfeeding, because we all know that bottle feeding a baby
mhm,
is easier because the milk is right there. Breastfeeding, the baby works to get his milk out, and it helps. And guess what? When he does that,
mhm.
his jaw and facial muscles are developed properly. With bottle feeding, no work. All is one little suck and the milk come out. No work, no sweat.
Mhm.
Okay? All right.
And
I
I just want to add to what she was saying about that, because that is so, so, so important.
Mhm.
In we want lactation to be established.
Right.
The recommendation is 4 weeks. So the only thing should go in that baby mouth is your breast for the first 4 weeks.
Mhm.
Once lactation is established, and you can continue to do that, and you go into work in 4 months, you should advise, say, with the third month,
Mhm.
we get together, and based on what you want. Because I have a mother who has reached out to me.
Mhm.
She said, Anna, I need some help. I'm going back to work next month. She said, I'm feeling so emotional. How am I going? Am I going to still be able to do this?
Mhm.
I'm going to miss not being able to breastfeed. So she asked me to give her 2 sessions on just trying to organize herself to cope emotionally,
Yeah.
and she wants to maintain a supply for that baby.
Mhm.
So you have to be proactive. But mummies out there, mothers to be, 4 weeks. Give yourself 4 weeks. Once lactation is up and running, baby is latching, baby is sucking well,
Mhm.
milk is flowing, then we can have that conversation. And also, what is very, very important, see, you got to
Yeah.
reach out.
Yeah.
A lot of time you have issues when you get in a breast pump, the flange side, there's so many things. We even ain't going on that road yet
Yes.
about pumping the choices.
Right.
Sometimes people get the wrong choice.
Yes.
That's a whole thing that need to be dealt with
Yes.
before, so that when it happens, you could have a smoother, less complication. Because some of these things are just minor.
Right.
But when you don't know, the little things become big things.
Yes.
If you take care of the little things, the big things won't happen.
Yes.
So you'll have a smoother transition period. And there's lots of information, techniques out there so that you can maintain that. Because most people will go back to work by 3 months, but we are fighting. Our president can speak to that. And maybe mention we want the government. You need to hear this because breastfeeding benefits the government. You know, you used to say that less admission to the hospital,
Yes.
all them things, all them antibiotics, stuff, none of them.
Yes.
Right? Then the pollution, I want all pollution with all the cancer and things. That's a
Right.
whole nother environmental destructive we lesson in, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the landfill.
So I don't want to stray too much because I want to get in this because we still talking about bottles here. You're gonna have the time as professional women going back into their various job places and institutions, etc. Right? So the caregivers that are taking care of the babies in their absence, obviously some of them may not be able to use the cup to feed the baby because I know it may be a bit time consuming for some. All right, but so that gives the mother an opportunity to go to the store and purchase various bottles. Now, I know for me, at that time, I was using a bottle that may have been similar, or at that time stated that it's similar to the formation of a breast. You know, they can't do what is natural, but the closest to it was what I had to get when I had to go back to work. So, what type of bottles would you recommend for those who may not be able to do the cup? And then secondly, we're going to talk about the pump as well, because I got a Medela pump, which was excellent. But before that, I got another pump and it was excruciating. It was terrible. And I could see the difference because, you know, like they say, you know, the value of something based on the, you know, how much it really costs. Meaning, what did they say? When a cheap, I can't remember the words, but I got a cheap one and I got the cheap results. All right. And I got the expensive one. I got the expensive results.
Now,
so
what I'm going to tell you about the bottles. She'll tell you about the pumps. Now, let me tell you.
Okay. All right. Before now, let's take a break before you talk about the bottle. Sorry about that. That's just going based on the advice of my producer here. So take a quick break and then we go straight into talking about what it is that you need. All right. One second, ladies. We're going to take a quick break and get right back to these messages. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to say that. But I'm going to tell them.
The mic's still picking it up just in case you want to whisper.
Okay.
All right. If you want to talk about something now, it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You mean the mic picking up something?
Now it's picking me up now. Yes, ma'am.
We can start.
No, we're live, but not on the radio right now. We're on a break from the radio, but we're still live on the Facebook.
We're live on Facebook.
Okay.
So you could, if you want to say something now.
Yes. I would like to say, but you want me to talk that again?
You want to wait till the radio?
Yeah,
okay, we'll wait till the radio. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. Do you have any other questions? How much minutes do you have? Okay, 1 minute 30 seconds, so they can elaborate. I think that's what did I have? I'm looking for the bottles I had. It was called Tommy Tippy. That's the bottles I had. Y'all ever heard of Tommy Tippy?
Yes.
Those were my bottles.
That's not my favorite one though.
No. And my sister had Dr. Brown. But we know.
I don't like Dr. Brown.
Dr. Brown.
Dr.
Brown had too much things to be cleaning, and I was like,
too much stress.
I love the Tommy. Ain't much to do with the Tommy. That's not true. You just get the nipple, the cover, and the bottle. There was nothing else. See there. And that's advanced
and expensive.
Yeah, well, I didn't mind that because I wanted something to me at that time that was narrow to the nipples, and according to them, that's what it was.
And then you need to check.
I'm looking at this Komotomo right now.
I think that one have levels. You got to look at the levels to the level 1, level 2, level 3, level
Komotomo. Komotomo, natural feel, baby. Okay.
So you know that coming to that flows too much.
The bottle itself is soft.
Yes.
I can let you talk with them thing, but I can say.
Now I can tell you the Lancino, I never used it, but I used it to store my milk, and I also used it the creams for
Right.
after, because
They're good. They're good. The creams.
Oh,
But don't you know, your breast milk,
I was
your
told
breast milk is the
do some
cream.
and then you put it around.
The
Yes,
vitamin
I got
A,
that
E, and D in that heals the breast within hours.
instantly. Okay, yeah.
Yes,
Does
and
the
I
milk
proved it.
thistle tea really work?
Yes, it works.
What is milk thistle tea? Because he's asked these questions and I don't know.
It's blessed thistle.
A
Blessed,
blessed
thistle.
thistle.
Tea.
What is it?
Yeah,
It's
it
like
has
a bush?
different herbs. It has fever grass in it. It has other milk thistle in it. It have other herbs and
Right.
stuff in it to help make you make more milk.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
It's what you call it. What's the terminology for? It's a terminology for that. Those galactoids that helps to you produce more.
Galactagogues.
Right, galactagogues that help to increase your milk supply.
We almost
Yes.
There's so much to talk about, you know. You can't do this in one show.
Welcome back for those who are. I love my guests. I love them. I love them. Guess what? I was supposed to go on the break to look for the two women in the Bible who Paul was talking about. I need to go look for that. The two women in the Bible. While I doing that, we were talking about the different breast
The bottles.
Yes.
bottles, the bottles for milk. Right, go ahead. Go talk.
now.
Let me go look
I'm
it up.
going to tell you the part that I have been taught. I have been indoctrinated by the Best Miss Carlotta class and WHO program.
Mhm.
Bottles are a no. Okay, I don't even focus on the bottles. I tell people that's their choice. Bottles are a no with exclusive breastfeeding. It's cup feeding or sippy cup feeding. That's it.
Mhm.
Okay, but people want to use bottles. I tell them they want to breastfeed, but they want to put their breast milk in a bottle. I say, hats off to you. You go and do your investigation
Mhm.
and you go for it.
Mhm.
Now, my dear sister has some information on that, but I don't give no one, I am not marketing for no bottle companies.
I get it.
Go
I get it.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm a little bit more
Lenient.
lenient.
That's a pretty word to
I'm
use.
a little bit more lenient because
Yes.
what I do encourage is do not introduce that bottle
Until
until
after some that.
right.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure lactation is established.
Yes.
And what I've found is some babies do it well. They will go suck that bottle and they'll suck that breast.
Mhm.
Now, thankfully, on the market, we have some nice bottles, some good bottles that closely mimic the breast.
Yeah.
Even it's soft, it's feel. The baby has to open them out wide.
Yeah.
Some of them even have the ring around to show you how much must go in. And as a mother, you will hold the bottle the same way you do the breast,
Yeah.
so that the nipple is pointing to the roof
Yeah.
and the baby is actually on the areola of the breast, because they have it made where you have the nipple, you have the areola, just like the breast.
Yeah.
And the texture is really, really good.
Do you want
Now,
to share the name of the brand?
the brand,
No?
well, she said I mustn't say the
Oh,
name of
she
the
don't
brand.
like.
But you'll have to
No.
see me personally. But the
Right.
key
They
thing too,
pay enough for that.
Okay,
the
that's
key
true.
thing with
Go
that
ahead.
too, what I want to say to the ladies listening is they have initially, there's something I call it pace feeding.
Yes.
And they have different levels. They have a level 1, a level 2, a level 3 with the nipple.
Right.
If you use a level 3, you turn the bottle at a 90 degree, you'll see the milk just dropping. No, you don't want to start with that. The baby even don't have to suck. The milk will just flow and right. So if you start with a level 1 and you hold it at a 45-degree angle, you don't hold it at a 90, so that you want it to mimic, you want the baby have to suck to get the milk to mimic what you're doing with the breast. And so I want to make bottle feeding just as safe. So I encourage you to reach out so you could get the education, the training, and teaching. The sitter who's going to be with that baby, they need to be informed as well. And if you do it that way, you'll have a smoother transition.
I love that. I love that, ladies. You ladies are just on the ball. I love how nurturing. I kept saying this. It's Priscilla and Aquila. Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
It's Priscilla and
Yeah.
Aquila. Okay. So, but that's what you remind me of.
But
Go
Scylla
ahead.
and Aquila, one of them is a man, though.
What?
That's a husband and wife team.
Mm.
Maybe it's someone else you're
No?
talking about. Yes, one of
They're a
them is a
married
man.
couple. Yes,
I
that's
tell
true.
you,
Sorry,
that's a married
I don't want
couple.
y'all to think I don't read my Bible. I remember two women, man, two
It must be
aunties.
someone
You
else.
look that up. You look it up.
Yes, I'm gonna
Yes.
keep on looking. I gonna keep on looking, man. But what is? Yeah, I can look for that before
Right.
the end of the show. I can look for that. So let's talk now about because you told us about the nutrition, the benefits, etc., the various types of foods and bush and stuff to use, medicine and stuff to use if you want to acquire the milk
To be bumped up.
supply
Increase.
to increase. We spoke about the various we didn't talk about storing the milk, did
Oh
we?
yes,
Let's
let
talk
me
about
go.
that. Mhm.
I'm gonna say it the swift and easy way, and
Mhm.
I will let her cap off.
Mhm.
With breastfeeding, with human breast milk, it's not like formula. Okay, when you just pump out your breast milk, okay, what you do, you can leave it at room temperature
Mhm.
for 8 hours, and that's fine.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, in cool weather, okay, or even in hot. But after 8 hours, you
Discard
can't
it.
use that no more,
Mhm.
okay? After that 8 hour time. Now, after you have expressed that milk and
Mhm.
you put it in the fridge, do not put it in the doors of the fridge
Mhm.
or right in front.
The
You
fridge
put
or the
it,
freezer?
yeah, no, I can get to that.
Mhm.
You put it at the back of the refrigerator
Mhm.
in a plastic container with a lid,
Mhm.
and you date it and you put the time and you put it in the back of the fridge.
Mhm.
That's because you may be wanting to use that breast milk within that same day or
Okay.
two.
Okay.
Okay. Now you have a lot of milk bags, you have a lot of plastic containers. You store at least 2 to 3 ounces per time in each container.
Mhm.
You don't want to put whole 4 or 8 ounces in one container,
Mhm.
because if you tore it or the baby doesn't consume all of it, you have to dump it.
Right.
Okay. And breast milk is
Gold.
precious, is
Mhm.
gold.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. We don't want none of it to waste.
Mhm.
So you put it in the fridge for 72 hours. That's 3 days. It can last in the fridge for 3 days in the refrigerator.
Mhm.
Now remember, once that sits for about 3 or 4 hours, you're gonna notice the milk will separate.
Right.
Okay. So don't think nothing wrong with it.
Mhm.
All it is the fat go
At
on the top,
Mhm.
and then the other soluble watery part will sink further to the bottom.
Mhm. Mhm.
All you do is just give it a good little light shake
Mhm.
or a little good stir,
Mhm.
and you back in business
Okay.
to feed it to your baby.
Let's talk
Okay.
about the proper way of thawing out the milk.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get to that.
Mhm.
Now, when you have the milk in the freezer, you have a lot of supply of it. You put it in the freezer, and you could keep it in your fridge
Yes.
freezer for 3 months.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you have a very, very big supply,
Mhm.
you can put it in your deep freeze. You know where you put they say they put their ham, their turkey, all their meat,
Yes.
and their fish. You can put it in there and it will last for 1 year. So you could go off to school and have milk there for your child if you left the child behind. You hear what I'm saying? Now, with thawing the milk, you take the milk out of the refrigerator or the fridge. It's kind of cold. You want to feed your baby the human breast milk at room temperature.
Mhm.
So what most women do, you put some water on the stove.
Mhm.
Now you don't go and put your breast milk on the boiling water on the stove.
Right.
You after you heat the water, you just get the breast milk
Mhm.
and you whoosh it around in the warm water that
Mhm.
is off the stove now.
Mhm.
Within a few minutes, within 2 minutes or less,
Mhm.
that milk becomes um, um, melted.
Mhm.
Once it's melted, you go and you can feed your baby that. Okay? You can feed your baby that milk. All right?
Okay.
And that is fine. Do not put your breast milk in the breast milk bag inside a bottle warmer. Do not do that.
Mhm.
Or the
Okay? It
microwave.
will
Or
yes,
microwave.
or the microwave.
Mhm.
That's a no. It will cook the human breast milk. Breast milk is live. When they put the human milk under a stethoscope,
Mhm.
they actually see movement
Mhm.
going on in that human milk.
I love that.
Okay?
Mhm.
It's awesome. It's not dead like formula. Formula is dead.
There.
Dead. Okay? So that's what I want to tell you about thawing the human milk. Is there anything you want to add, Anna, about
When you
that?
take it out the freezer, ladies, you take it
Yes.
out overnight and let it be there.
Mhm.
And then it'll be thawed out. then you just could follow up on what she say, because we don't want to kill them enzymes
Right.
and all them stuff,
Right.
delicate, them good stuff. So that's why she emphasized no microwave, no bottle warmer, no hot water on the stove, and you throw the bottle in that. No, you could just use the hot water from the faucet,
Right.
and and in time it will
It'll
do.
thaw out.
Right. But what I want to emphasize, if the baby you've thawed out, you have 2 ounces of milk in the to give the baby via the cup or whichever method you were using, the bottle, and the baby takes, say, 1.5 and half ounce leave. What do you do with that? Now, you only have, because the baby mouth has already been to that, if you leave it sitting, you have 2 hours. Within 2 hours, you need to use that remaining, because the good bacteria that is in the baby's mouth goes into the container you're sucking from. And if you let it stay out there, it will culture. And the good bacteria will now become a bad bacteria and can infect the baby. So you cannot take it for granted to leave it there in the bottle for hours and hours after the baby has been to it. That is why we say storage. She emphasized it 2 to 3 ounces, the amount that you think the baby will use. And once you freeze it, you can't refreeze it.
You can't refreeze it.
No.
I love that. All right. Now we're going to talk about World Breastfeeding Week and the various. Look at y'all. I love the
Yes,
excitement. The
yes.
various events that you have on your itinerary. So we're looking at where we're into. It's Sunday, 4th of August. So you've already had your church service.
Yes.
Yeah. What are some of the things that were already done?
Yes, some of the things that were already done is we were on another talk show from this wonderful radio station. And on Friday, we had a wonderful big latch on that take place at the Ministry of Health and Wellness courtyard, where women who breastfeed will come and put their babies to the breast simultaneously together. And also in the Princess Margaret Hospital, private surgical and doctor's hospital are going to all do this at the same time. Okay. And we will be giving out wonderful gifts, diapers, wipes, a nice breast pump we have to give someone. We have some wonderful stuff to give out and some treats and so on. But it's all to encourage women to breastfeed. We are also encouraging the pregnant mothers to come down so they could get their nice gifts and
encourage
and
them.
stuff. Yes, and
So
to
they were
encourage
there.
them to breastfeed as
Right,
well,
right.
and to get the help that they need. If they need any help with breastfeeding, they'll get numbers and information.
So what's
Yes.
happening tomorrow, Emancipation Day?
Yes, the
Emancipation Day.
umbrella thorn. That is the baby of Mrs. Carlotta Class, our pioneer in breastfeeding here in the Bahamas. She created this wonderful umbrella thorn. Have you ever looked at a breast? No, not at a breast. But have you ever looked at an umbrella and see that it looks like a breast?
Upside.
When you open up the umbrella and look at it, it looks like you can see a nipple. You can see the shape of the breast.
Yeah.
I just want y'all to get that analogy first of all. But the umbrella-thon will be taking place on the holiday, the 5th of August, starting at the Marathon Mall by Kelly's. And we're going to walk from there onto Claridge Road, onto Foxhill, then back onto Marathon Road, back to the mall. Yes. Back there. And we will have refreshments. And guess what? People will be given cash prizes for the best umbrellas. Okay. We have first, second, and third place winners. They will get a keep trophy, and a floating trophy will also be awarded. We will also have refreshments after that, because that's a nice little walk. We will have refreshments to give all of our participants at that time. So we are excited. Now, everyone need information. Some people might not be able to hear everything we said today.
Yes.
We will be on Zoom. On Zoom, we're going to have 2 Zoom seminars to cover everything to deal with breastfeeding on Tuesday at 6 to 8 p.m. and also on Wednesday at 6 to 8 p.m. You can even ask your questions, give people the information. The Zoom link for that is the ID number. I don't know if you all will remember it. It's 813-791-8268. And guess what? The password easy. Breast with a capital B. And you will be logged on with us to learn all that you can about breastfeeding.
We have the flyer up. The flyer doesn't
Awesome.
have the Zoom, but it does have your phone contacts
We need
for
to put
Nurse
the Zoom
McCardy,
on there.
Nurse
Okay.
and
This
then
one.
your Vice President, Nurse Simonette. But we are going to
This is the one with the Zoom link and everything.
okay, but because that's up on there, so we don't have an
Okay.
electronic copy as yet.
All
but
right.
all right, but of course we're gonna make sure I put that up or post it so that people can get the Zoom link to
Yes.
join. All right, so as we are closing, ladies, let us know if there's anything else, or maybe you want to recite your phone contacts, Nurse Forbes, in case
tell them
people
your-
want to reach you on any
Okay.
form of social media.
Yeah. Well, I'm on social media. I'm
Okay.
on Facebook. I'm on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
And I'm on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So, and I said, just you put in Midwife Forbes, Midwife Anna, Own Your Birth. That's me.
You there.
I'm there.
Good.
So you can readily get me on social media.
Okay, that's wonderful.
As for me, as the president for the Bahamas National Breastfeeding Association, I would like to plug in the theme this year is closing the gap, breastfeeding support for all. Listen, everyone, all you employees and people who run businesses and have these working women working there who are in childbearing years, please support them if they want to breastfeed. Give them the time to go and exclusively breastfeed their child. Or even if it's doable, allow them an area. Specify an area in that job site for them to pump and store their breast milk. Provide them with one little fridge and a chair and an area to pump and store their milk. We need that. We are moving forward for these things with policies in the Bahamas. So please get it going now, people. Please get it going. Help these mothers, because if we have healthy babies, we're gonna have a healthier nation.
Yes.
Thank you.
I love that.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
what are some of the things that the Bahamas National Breastfeeding Association do, other than, of course, supporting and ensuring that women are properly educated as far as breastfeeding is concerned? Do you do things like donations for breast milk for women who are unable to breastfeed, etc.?
What we do right now, our main platforms is we have two big events we do per year. We work in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Mhm.
That's what we're doing now.
Mhm.
We are piggybacking with them to get all of these things done.
Right.
Okay, that's one thing. Then in October, the 1st to the 7th of October, we have National Breastfeeding Week.
Mhm.
Okay, and we are planning to do a baby-friendly fair
Mhm.
where people who deal with anything to do with babies and mothers can come down and assist. Not assist, but show their stuff, sell
Right.
their stuff,
Mhm.
and to promote breastfeeding. We also are going to be having a baby Olympics. Anybody who has a baby that can get that was exclusively breastfeed.
Right.
We are going to have a crawling competition. We're going to have a running competition. We're going to have a walking competition. We're going to have it all in October.
Okay.
And we're going to have an exhibition corner
Okay.
where you display all kind of information about breastfeeding in the government clinics. So we're doing things. We give out pumps when we get donations.
Mhm.
We give out pumps to mothers who need it.
Okay.
We are here we do seminars at least 3 times in a year.
Mhm, mhm. So
Okay.
you don't help with like donating milk?
No,
Like with those-
no. We
Right.
want to get that on board because
Right.
that is one of the things we want to put in policy, because mothers have called me saying, I am done. My freezer is packed with milk. My baby is grew now. He's not taking any more
Mhm.
milk. Can you come for this milk? I say, we do not have a milk bank here in the Bahamas yet.
Okay.
I have nowhere to store your milk. Okay. So that is something that is in the future
Right.
in the
Right.
Bahamas.
But as far as support, y'all are there.
Yeah, we are
Really?
there.
So that's
We
a
are
team.
there. We are there as a team. When we
Right.
need to help people, help mothers who need help, we support them.
Mhm.
How
Tell me
we
a little
can.
bit about the founder of this establishment,
Oh, that
this
one. I'll say
organization.
peace, and I can let my dear sister.
Yeah,
let
yeah,
her.
let's talk.
Mrs. Carlotta Class. I met her when I had my second child.
Mhm.
My second child is now 21, 21, eh? He's
Mhm.
21 years old.
Mhm.
He'll be 22 in November.
Mhm.
And I met her. I was already coming back to work. And I said, I'm back to work and I think I won't be able to do this breastfeeding anymore.
Mhm.
And she said, no, you can pump and store your milk and you can go on breastfeeding breaks. You have the right because you work for the Ministry of Health to go on 2 breastfeeding breaks
Right.
in a day.
Mhm.
I said, what? When I looked, I was doing that.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's how we met. And guess what? Ever since then, I had him in 2021. Ever since I met in 2021, me and her have been connected from then to now.
Mhm.
This woman was dealing with breastfeeding from 1993
Mhm.
when they sent her to do a special WHO training abroad.
Mhm.
And from then she gravitated on that.
Mhm.
And she has been steering the course ever since. This woman has been a mentor to me and a help. And from her, I have become, she passed the baton on to me to be the
Mhm.
president after she did it for many years.
Mhm.
And now she is older now.
Mhm.
She is an elderly lady.
Mhm.
But she's still passionate about breastfeeding. And guess what? She has been honored um, actually for the independence celebration with a prestigious award, the Distinguished Medal. She was given
Mhm.
that because of her strides in
Mhm.
breastfeeding
Mhm.
in the Bahamas. She got
Trailblazer.
it going.
I love
She
that.
went to all of the family islands to train and to help women into breastfeeding and the staff. She's awesome.
I love that.
And she was so passionate about what she did.
Yeah.
Because I remember as a coordinator at Doctors Hospital Maternity Unit,
Mhm.
I just called her and she willingly came. She didn't even ask for a fee. And she taught the staff with us for 2 consecutive days. And she didn't ask about pay. She just
That's
did
the
it.
passion.
That's the passion. She
Yes.
wanted to empower the nurses so that
Yes.
we can understand. She even trained some physicians. But what I really remember I could see her distinctly now, walking through Princess Margaret Hospital, talking about breastfeeding.
Yeah.
But in the 90s, we used to have a lot of gastroenteritis.
Mm.
And when she came back home, she made a dent in that with that breastfeeding passion and
Yeah.
teaching and more women breastfeeding. We saw a reduction. That was one of the reasons, besides the introduction of, they came up with that immunization, the oral one, that helped as well
Mhm.
in the reduction. But breastfeeding and teaching
Mhm.
and all of that. And even so, even for women who bottle fed, you have to educate them to make it safe. Because a
Absolutely.
lot of them were doing it wrong.
Yeah.
If you're gonna
Bottle feed.
bottle feed formula, you still need to be trained. You still need to know how to make it safe for the baby so the baby don't get gastroenteritis. So she really made a impact. And we saw, she did a study, I don't know what she did with it, but I saw it some time ago. I don't know if she still could have it, but she did an interesting study on that case.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know if she was sent to the Ministry of Health
Mhm.
or whatever, but I know it was a significant impact she made as it relates to the reduction of gastroenteritis within our country.
I love that. So salutes to, what's her name again? I'm sorry.
Carlotta Class.
Carlotta Class.
With a lot of class.
That's
A
what she likes to
Carlotta
say.
Class. I
With a lot
love
of
that. I am
So Carlotta Class.
grateful for her. I salute her
Yeah.
today, and of course, the the impact that she's made on this
Mhm.
country.
Yes.
And so I salute her. I pray that she tunes in, and if she doesn't, y'all can send a replay so she can listen to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Right.
sure that she would be in her glory.
She
Just
would be
listening
smiling.
the fact that you are
Yes.
educating the people, especially with this being a women's talk show. She will be
Right.
delighted. So, ladies, thank you so much for being a part of this show this week with us. You have, I found the name, Luis and Eunice. That's for
Right.
Timothy.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
But
yes.
listen, thank you, ladies. You know, I wasn't gonna leave the show
I
without
know you
finding
were
right.
the show.
Thank you so
Oh,
much
it
for
was a
being a part.
pleasure. We enjoyed it.
Yes,
I love you, girl.
yes,
Love
love you
you.
too. So we're gonna wrap it up. Wrap it up with just the camera over there, right? Just me, because we're gonna cut off now. We're just you all over the place. Our producer all over the place. All right. So next week's show is gonna we're talking to housekeepers and caregivers, teaching us about hiring help for our homes and businesses. We're gonna learn about how to vet the housekeepers, how to vet the caregivers, etc. The process that goes in and out with that, all the ins and outs of that, rather. And so we're gonna have a few people who are businesses of these caregiving institutions and housekeeping institutions coming on to help to help those who want to hire help, wants a housekeeper, want someone to help with their loved one who may be bedridden, etc. All right, so we want to know about that because you don't want to have any and everybody in your house. You're right.
Mhm.
They're going to talk about the type of vetting, asking for police records, and of course, 2 or 3 references prior to, because as you know, whatever you value, you want to make sure that it's kept and secured properly. So you're not just going to have any and everyone inside your house. So you want to tune into that in the next week's show. Now, for those who may be struggling with relationship issues, as far as wanting to build stronger relationships, healthier connections, together we'll navigate challenges, improve communication, and create meaningful, lasting bonds here at Your Lane Life Coaching. All right, business. I am a life coach as well as a relationship coach, and I'll be happy to help you with that in that particular area that you may be struggling or being challenged with. All right, so you could go ahead on my website, www.yourlanelifecoaching.com, or you can give me a call at 376-8689. I would love to schedule an appointment with you. I want to thank once again my beautiful midwives, nurses, lactation consultants, however the name is for that. Consultants. They have been wonderful in that of Mrs. Trenika McCardy and Mrs. Anna Forbes. A blessing, and may God continue to bless you even more as you give your knowledge out to those and impact those who need it most. And the event for October, please give me a call because I want to make sure y'all come back on the show.
Oh, yes.
All right, because we got to talk about that as well. We're gonna inform. We're gonna have a part 2.
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna talk about that and all the different things that, even if it's just the 15-minute to 20-minute interview after whatever show I have, so that you could tell others in advance what is to come for that.
Yes.
All right, I would love to have you on free of charge. I would
Yes.
love to have you on. All right, so thank you once again, Beats, for holding it down as you've always done. Thank you to my continued listening audience, and for those who've been listening, who have or is listening for the first time. Thank you for tuning in with us today. And once again, Your Lane sponsors, thank you so much for ensuring that this show stays on air. And that would be the Perfume Bar, John Shoe Store and Accessories, Your Lane Life Coaching, Chef Boyardee Spaghetti, Obviously Delicious, Secretly Nutritious, distributed by Asa H. Pritchard. Hellman's Mayonnaise, bring out the best, make taste, not waste, distributed by Asa H. Pritchard. And Libby's Vienna Sausages, distributed by Asa H. Pritchard. Now, to the businesses out there, if you wish to sponsor Your Lane Talk Show, please give me a call, 376-8689. We have some awesome packages to suit your budget. I promise you, give us a call. We make sure that you're on, make sure that you're loaded. All right. And so we are out. We hope that you were all empowered, educated, and encouraged today. And until next time, have a beautiful Sunday. Now, make sure you all have a proper way of holding on to your baby. Make sure they're looking up in your face. Make sure that their bodies are turned towards the stomach. Make sure the nipples are facing up to the top part of the. See, I learned. It's finished now. I didn't have my tree, but up to the top part of their mouths and bond with them. All right. Until next time, see you later.